So the crossing, my friends, right, is the place where I enter and learn the signature of my unique desire. And my unique desire is my deepest heart's desire. So, friends, I want to go one more step and let's look at that code one more time that Tom resonated so beautifully. And let's take it step by step. And I see if we can actually read it together today and actually feel this. And then next week, we'll literally write the new Constitution. Okay?
We are at the time of the crossing. The time of the crossing is a time between worlds and a time between stories. Unlike any time we have ever been in before, the crossing is a pivotal point in history. Unlike any time we have ever been in before. The crossing takes place as we are poised between utopia and dystopia. It's the moment that Abraham stood in when he heard the call to cross to the other side. It's the moment that the slaves stood in when they needed to decide whether to return to Egypt or to cross the Red Sea to the other side. This is the great moment of the crossing. All the wisdom traditions in the world, premodern, modern, and postmodern, knew that this moment would come. We are at a phase transition, which will either mean the collapse of human history or the birth of the most beautiful world we can imagine. We will either birth a new human and a new humanity. Homo sapiens will fulfill itself and become Homo amor, or we will experience collapse, stagnation, or extinction. This is the moment where every human being and humanity as a whole is asked one question. Am I ready? Am I willing to play a larger game, to participate in the evolution of love? Am I willing to be the new human and the new humanity? Am I willing to stand for all of the past and all of the present and all of the unborn in the future and cross over from Homo sapiens into Homo amor and birth the most good, true, and beautiful world that we all know is possible.
So let's take a look. We're at a time of the crossing. We're at a time of the crossing, and I want to today, if we can, just to feel that. Where and what would that mean for me personally? Because the personal is political. So next week, we're going to unfold the 10 laws of outrageous love, the Constitution, right, of Homo amor. This week, I want to enter it, if we can, personally, right? Not in the kind of classical podcast way, but with a series of inquiry questions. So the code begins, we're at the time of the crossing. The time of the crossing is a time between worlds and a time between stories. And what we wrote every week, what we said to each other every week in our mailing this week, we said is the personal is political and the political is personal. So I want to ask, if I can, a personal question to myself and to all of us here. What is the personal crossing at this moment in your life? And that's the question. And how is that personal crossing part of you becoming Homo amor? Right? What is the personal crossing? Does everyone understand the question? That at this moment in my life, there's a personal crossing. There's something I need to reach for. There's something I need to give up. There's a new wisdom. There's a new maturity. There's a new eros that I need to step into. There's a crossing. And so what is the crossing? What is the pivoting point, right, in your life at this moment? But think about it. And again, let's take this slow. Remember, about 2 weeks ago, I think exactly 2 weeks ago, we did the 9 stations of human identity, the 9 transformations of human identity. So when we ask, what is the crossing? Don't answer just as a separate self, right? Don't answer just as a skin encapsulated ego, right? Or an ego self. We got to answer that question as unique self and as evolutionary unique self. And unique self and evolutionary unique self is I've now realized that I'm part of the field of value. That's true self. After separate self is true self. True self is the field of value, and it's the field of desire, and it's the field of consciousness. And as true self, I realize that the total number of true selves in the world is one. And that there is, and this is a huge sentence, brothers and sisters, this is a huge sentence for the revolution. It's a huge sentence for Homo sapien becoming Homo amor. And the sentence is, there is no local desire. There's no such thing. No desires are local. No desires are only mine. It doesn't mean that my desires are generic. It doesn't mean my desire is not unique. It means it's not local. My desire is unique, not local. I have a non-local unique desire. Does everyone get that? That's a new phrase. There's non-local unique desire. Non-local means that my desire participates in the field of desire. And that field of desire is one field, and it's one breath, and it's one love, and it's one heart, and it's one consciousness, and it's one desire, but it's a unique desire. So who am I? I'm an irreducibly unique desire of the field of desire. So it's not just my arousal. It's not just my throbbing. It's not just my tumescence, right? It's actually my tumescence, my softness, the spreading of my heart and embodiment, the opening and the throbbing, right, of my desire to love reality, open, thrusting deep into cosmos and penetrating it with the depth of my consciousness and the depth of my being. That's an expression. I'm a unique expression of the larger field. That's my unique desire. I don't allow the scripts of desire to be written for me. That's the beginning of totalitarianism. That's what we talked about at the very beginning of today. When I allow others who seek commodification and short-term profit, others who are misaligned with my own unique self, others who don't recognize me, others, right, who organize algorithmic machine intelligence-driven reality to speak to the lowest common denominator of the human being, others who upgrade algorithms in order to downgrade human beings. And we're living in a world of emergent, upgraded algorithms and downgraded human beings that are unable to access unique desire. No. I've got to access my unique desire. And my crossing, this moment of the crossing, right, is directly related to me accessing my unique desire. So Tom Ronayne, who read and resonated beautifully the Code, and Krista, right, who so beautifully ushered us into One Mountain, and Kirsten Zohar, who's our editorial, brilliant artistic director and scholar, right, and Christina Amelon, right, who resonated, right, so beautifully the Dharma recapitulation, right, and Claire Millinaire, who's the head of the Unique Self Institute, and Shahati, right, who's a senior fellow scholar and who created the festival for 10 years, right, and Anya, right, and James and Matti and Else, right, and Dr. Kincaid, right, my co-author, partner, right, and head of the great Eros project and the Outrageous Love Project, right, and Jacqueline, right, and Jamie, right, Jacqueline and Jamie are holding us so deeply, right, and Benjamin, right, and Medea, right, and Oriana, who I was madly delighted to talk to this week, right, and Becca and Carol and Angus, right, actually, each one of us, right, is an irreducibly unique expression of desire. And as Robin says so beautifully and correctly, accessing unique desire is the antithesis of totalitarianism. That is exactly right. Bingo, home run, top of the ninth, bases loaded. That's exactly right. And the second I allow someone else to write the script of my desire, that is the beginning of totalitarianism. And whether it's fundamentalism, a regressive fundamentalism that's writing the script of my desire with a morality police, or it's a kind of broken liberal order that enacts a pornographic universe, right, that is degraded simply because it's actually hijacking the script of my unique desire. So the crossing, my friends, right, is the place where I enter and learn the signature of my unique desire. And my unique desire is my deepest heart's desire. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, friends? Can you feel when I say make sense, meaning it's sensual, right? Sense making is sensual. You can feel it in your body, heart, mind. Sense making has to be sensual. When I say, does that make sense? I mean, can you feel it in your body, in your heart, in your mind, right? Can you feel it sensually? When you know something's true, you know it because it's carnal knowledge, because you can feel it. I can feel it in my body, in my heart, in my mind. So at this time of the crossing, I need to access my unique, deepest heart's desire. And my heart's desire is the desire of my heart, my soul, my psyche, my body. And I need to write the great epic drama of my desire. And my desire is non-local. So my desire is not just for me, but it's also not just for me and my immediate family, no matter how beautiful they are or how broken they are, or how much they exhaust me and how much they take from me. That's important. I think immediate family is important. I have a great service there. Biology is not an accident. But actually, I can't serve my immediate family unless I'm serving the larger whole. I need to know, right, am I taking my seat at the table? Am I resting in my second innocence? Am I living the full joy of my being and becoming? And from that place where I'm actually in my unique desire, in my deepest heart's desire, when I'm giving my gift in my unique circle of intimacy and influence, when I'm writing my unique letter in the cosmic scroll, from that place, I can be an incredible father. I can be an incredible brother, an incredible son, an incredible sister, an incredible friend, and an incredible beloved in all shapes and all sizes and all forms of all kinds. So my friends, the question I want to tenderly, with so much mad respect, right? And I hope you feel just the depth of the love and the depth of the respect, right? What is your moment of crossing? Because the personal is political, the political is personal. What's your crossing? How are you going to cross the other side? And to cross the other side takes something. It takes audacity and it takes humility. And humility and audacity are the same thing. It's the realization that it's moving through me. And we are friends unlike at any time we've ever been in before. That's our code today. The crossing, this moment of the crossing is a pivoting point in your history and my history. And it's a pivoting point in world history. And this crossing takes place, as Tom resonated, as we are quite literally poised between utopia and dystopia. So imagine, friends, that you are Abraham. And you're hearing the call. And the call says, Lech lecha, go forth from the land. Go forth from your father and mother's house, meaning leave the old traumas behind. Leave the old story behind. We know we were all traumatized. We were all traumatized in different ways. And as Anna Karenina opens that great Russian, right, novel, right, we all suffer uniquely and we all suffer differently. But we suffer trauma, right? I've suffered enormous trauma in my life, unimaginable. And yet I've got to not live in that. I've got to actually hold it and do what I can to heal it and step into tomorrow. And you can only recover from trauma when you stop working, right, and living in the recurrent, recursive loop of the memory of yesterday, and you allow yourself to be pulled by the strange attractor of the memory of the future. So classical psychological work is important, but it obsesses with the past. It allows itself, the psychological self, to be hijacked by the past. When I'm hijacked by the past, when I review my work of recovery as recovering the memories of the past, then I can never actually live in the present or access the future. To recover is to recover a memory of the future. And the memory of the future is recovered by one organ of the human body, heart, soul, which is the organ of desire. Desire, by its very nature, reaches for the future. Homo desirus. We are human beings who desire. We are homo prospectus. We are prospecting, right, for the goals, right, for the vision, for the shimmering invitation of a new future, which is my teacher, Nachman of Breslov, was one of the, great inspirations for Franz Kafka. said, three words in Aramaic that when you get up in the morning, the very first act you do as homo amor, he called it zichron alma da'ati. You remember the future. Wow, we become intimate, not just with the past, not just with the split off parts of ourself, which we have to become intimate with because the political is personal. We become intimate with the split off parts of you, and we return the parts of you that you're missing to yourself. That's what a unique self encounter is. When you've lost a part of yourself and I'm holding it and I return it to you, that's a unique self encounter. But even more than that, we're intimate with the future. We hear the call of the future. We hear the call of our future. Who do we need to be in 5 years from now? Are we going to keep in the fashion of Groundhog's Day, that movie? Are we going to keep repeating the same day again and again, which is what most of us do most of the time? Most people over most of the world, most of the time, keep living the same day again and again. Or will we break through till tomorrow? Or will tomorrow creep in its petty pace, day after day to the last syllable of recorded time, and we fall into extinction and dystopia? Or will it be tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow bursts the memory of my personal future? I'm actually here as Ibrahim to do my crossing. So I want to, with permission, friends, tenderly, vividly, audaciously, humbly, I want to ask you and ask me, right, a question, the most personal question in the world. The most personal question in the world is not about your money or your sex. The most personal question in the world is, what's your deepest heart's desire? That you really know that is omni-considerate for the sake of the whole. Not your deepest heart's desire as separate self, but your deepest heart's desire as evolutionary, unique self, playing your instrument in unique self symphony as Homo sapien who's become Homo amor. Find your desire from that place. Know that your unique desire is the desire of cosmos discreetly expressed in you. Friends, we live in a pornographic universe, and the pornographic universe isn't just about Pornhub or pornographic channels. The whole thing's a pornographic universe. The way the news is run is a pornographic universe. The way CNN is run and the way Fox News is run are different versions of the pornographic universe. Everything's driven by a commodified profit to arrest your attention for a short amount of time, right? To emerge, right, your surface pathos, and then to give you a feeling of surface catharsis. And then you go on with business as usual, reliving the same day again and again. No, we got to move from the pornographic universe to the cosmo-erotic universe, right? To a cosmo-erotic humanism. And a humanism means that your unique humanity, which is your unique desire, because who are we? We are unique incarnations of intimacy and desire. So that's the question for this week. That's the code for this week. In this moment, you and I, together, we are Ibrahim, and we are called to cross to the other side. This is that moment of the crossing. It's that moment of the crossing in our personal lives, and the personal is political. And as we become Homo amor, we can actually begin a great wave. And that wave is going to start with a trickle. It's going to start with a rivulet. It's going to start with a few drops, and they're going to gather force, and they're going to come together, and we're going to find each other. And my arousal and my water and my rivulet and my trickle is going to find your trickle. And soon we're going to come together as a mighty river and flood the world with the goodness of the water of creativity and the water of caring and the water of kindness and the water of goodness and the water of truth and the water of beauty. It's not enough just to do an informational podcast. We have to invite each other. And that's what time is. Time, literally, in the original Hebrew is Zman, Z-E-M-A-N, and Zman means invitation. So will you invite me? I need to be invited. We all need to be invited. I need to be invited. Will you invite me? Will you allow me to invite you? Can we invite each other, friends? Can we invite each other to become Homo amor? I invite you. Who's willing to write, I invite you in the chat box? Just, I invite you. I invite you to become Homo amor. Right? Right? We invite each other. We need to be invited. We need to be intended. And I just want to say, I want to close with this. We need each other. Okay? We're afraid to talk about need. We're afraid that if we need each other, we're codependent, or if we need each other, we don't really love each other because we need something from each other. We all need each other. To say I love you is to say I need you. And if I'm willing to let you love me, I need to know that you need me. We need each other. We need each other as unique self-symphony. We need each other in our dyads and in our triads. We need to actually become this band of outrageous lovers. You know, our public cover friends, our public covers were a think tank, sophisticated, serious, board of directors, deep research. And we need to be doing that deep research, and we need to download it into the very source code of culture. But that's just that's our public cover. Underneath and on the inside of the inside, who are we? We're a band of outrageous lovers. We're Homo sapien, madly committed to each other and to becoming Homo amor, right? To actually evoking this moment in human history of the crossing, to cross over to the other side. Who's willing? Who's willing to cross over together with each other to the other side? Homo sapien becoming Homo amor, a planetary awakening in love through unique self-symphonies.